Velites, thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all. The last born of Ecowas, Bassirou Diomaye Faye, has shocked everybody. We realized that some few weeks ago, Mali, Niger and Burkina Faso decided that they don't want to have anything to do with the CFA franc. So for that reason, they are setting themselves free from colonial chains. That we can't say we are independent, yet we sit in Africa and somebody determines the kind of currency that we are supposed to be using. They print this currency for us and we pay interest, colonial taxes. So they want to be free. And we're asking if the other countries are not also tired and they also want freedom. Bassirou Diomaye Faye decided that enough is enough. Before he came into office, we even thought that he's going to work with Mali, Niger and Burkina Faso until he allowed himself to be used as the mediator to bring back Mali, Niger and Burkina Faso into the Ecowas bloc. But now he said, where things have gotten to, they have enough. They want freedom. On the Independence Day of Senegal, Faye, the president of Senegal, made it clear that they are also tired and they want to join their brothers to seek for freedom. So they don't want to use the CFA franc, and they are calling on Ecowas to do everything possible to make sure they get that freedom. And if Ecowas is not willing, they are willing, that they cannot continue to be living in bondage, in colonialism, thinking that they have independence. Unless we say Africans, we are not truly independent, because if people sit somewhere and control our economy, control us, our natural resources and everything, then we are not independent. We can only be independent when we have control over everything. And that is why Nkrumah said political freedom without economic freedom is meaningless. This is what we are asking all African leaders to do. We have to unite under one umbrella and fight oppression. Until we are able to team up together and fight, we can never make a headway. We have to rise up and say no to all the restrictions, all the systems that these people have created for us, that is keeping us in bondage. We know that ECOWAS decided that they were going to introduce ECO, and nobody knows. France rose up and said no to that. Until date, ECO hasn't come, and we keep on dancing to the tune of these people. Until when will we concentrate on the African?
President Bassirou Diomaye Faye has taken yet another audacious step toward true liberation, a move that echoes the fearless strides of Burkina Faso's captain Ibrahim Traoré. Just months after standing shoulder to shoulder with Traoré in Ouagadougou, Faye is now raising the flag of monetary sovereignty, declaring war on the shackles of the CFA franc, a relic of colonial domination that has choked our economies for far too long. This is not just a policy shift. It's a clarion call to every African nation to rise, reclaim what is ours, and forge a future free from the claws of France-Afrique. Let me paint the picture for you, my people. On April 4th, 2025, Senegal's Independence Day, President Faye stood tall and spoke with the fire of a man who knows the weight of history rests on his shoulders. He laid out a roadmap, a battle plan, to dismantle the CFA franc and replace it with something that serves Africa, not Paris. 3 paths lie before Senegal, each one a testament to Faye's unwavering commitment to break free from the economic chains that have bound us since the so-called independence of the 1960s. First, he proposed a shared currency within the economic community of West African states, a dream of unity that could bind our economies into a powerhouse of self-reliance. But Faye is no dreamer lost in the clouds. He's a realist. The slowness of the process is deplorable, he thundered, his voice cutting through the bureaucratic fog that has stalled this vision for years. And he's right. ECOWAS has dragged its feet, bogged down by indecision and external meddling, leaving us to wonder, who's really pulling the strings? Not one to wait for others to catch up, Faye offered a second path, a shared currency within the West African Economic and Monetary Union. This, he said, could be a faster track, a practical step to balance economic stability with the urgent need for change. The West African Economic and Monetary Union offers an option, he declared, signalling his readiness to move decisively within a smaller, more agile coalition of nations. But here's where Faye's courage truly shines, my friends. If these regional plans falter, if the delays persist, Senegal will not sit idly by. If it takes time, we will begin minting our own currency, he warned, his words a thunderclap of defiance that should reverberate across the continent. Yes, you heard that right. Senegal, under Faye's leadership, is prepared to strike out on its own, to mint a national currency that answers to Dakar, not Paris. This is sovereignty in action, a bold symbol of a nation ready to stand on its own 2 feet. Now, let's step back and connect the dots, because this isn't just Senegal's fight, it's Africa's fight. Faye's move comes hot on the heels of his visit to Burkina Faso, where he met with Captain Ibrahim Traoré, a man who has become a beacon of resistance against neo-colonialism. Traoré, alongside the leaders of Mali and Niger, has already taken the Sahel by storm, uniting their nations under the Confederation of Sahel States, AES, to forge a future free from France's grip. These 3 nations, Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger, aren't just talking about monetary sovereignty, they're doing it. They've kicked France out, shredded the CFA francs' hold over their economies, and are on the verge of launching a new currency that could shake the foundations of France-Afrique. And mark my words, when that currency emerges from the AES, it won't be some fragile experiment. United as 3 nations, pooling their resources and resolve, they're crafting a financial weapon that could rival anything the West throws at them. Senegal, by contrast, is stepping out alone for now, but Faye's vision aligns with the Sahel's warriors, and together they're lighting a fire that could spread across West Africa. Why is this necessary, you ask? Why must Senegal, Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger take these radical steps? Because the CFA franc isn't just a currency, it's a leash, a tool of manipulation that France has wielded for decades to keep Africa on its knees. Let me break it down for you, my people, because the truth is as bitter as it is undeniable. Since 1945, when the CFA franc was birthed in the dying days of colonial rule, France has used it to siphon wealth from our lands while keeping us dependent. 14 African nations, 8 in West Africa, 6 in Central Africa, have been tethered to this currency, forced to peg it to the euro, and before that, the French franc, at a fixed rate dictated by Paris. Our central banks, the BCAO and BIAC, must deposit 50% of their foreign reserves in the French treasury, our money locked away in French vaults, earning interest for them while we beg for crumbs. And if we dare to trade with the world, we're stuck converting our CFA francs to euros through French intermediaries, losing billions in the process. This isn't economics, it's exploitation, plain and simple. France has played this game masterfully, my friends. They've dressed up the CFA franc as a gift of stability, but it's a stability that benefits them, not us. Our economies are forced to dance to the tune of French monetary policy, which prioritizes European interests over African growth. When France devalued the CFA franc by 50% in 1994, who suffered? Not Paris, us. Our purchasing power crumbled overnight, our businesses collapsed, and our people starved. Also, France could keep its colonial cash cow alive. And don't forget the strings attached. French companies get first dibs on our resources, oil, uranium, gold, while our governments are pressured to sign lopsided contracts that leave us with scraps. This is France-Afrique in action, a system where France pretends to be our partner while picking our pockets and calling it cooperation. But the jig is up and Africa is waking up. Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger have already shown us what's possible. They didn't just talk about cutting ties with France, they did it. They kicked French troops off their soil, telling Macron and his generals to pack their bags and go. They tore down the old flags of submission and raised new ones, symbols of pride and defiance. They exited the Organisation Internationale de la Francophonie, OIF, that so-called cultural alliance that's really just another arm of French influence. They formed their own military pact under the AES, proving they don't need France's overpriced protection to secure their lands. And now they're on the cusp of launching a new currency, one that will be backed by their collective strength. 3 nations, 72 million people, and some of the richest natural resources on the planet. Gold from Burkina Faso, uranium from Niger, and the sheer resilience of Mali's people. This isn't a pipe dream. It's a powerhouse in the making. Senegal's path might be different, but the spirit is the same. Faye's willingness to mint a national currency if regional plans falter shows he's not afraid to go it alone if he must. Sure, it's a risk. Building a currency from scratch takes time, infrastructure and trust. But Senegal isn't some weakling. It's the fourth biggest economy in West Africa, a nation with the clout and the will to make this work. Imagine the ripple effect if Senegal succeeds. Picture Ghana, Nigeria, Côte d'Ivoire watching Dakar break free and thinking, why not us? Faye's move could be the spark that ignites a monetary revolution across the region, forcing Ecowas and YMU to get their act together or get left behind. And France? Oh, France is trembling, my people. The AES's new currency, backed by 3 United Nations, will hit them like a sledgehammer. No more free reserves in their treasury, no more control over Sahel trade, no more cheap access to our wealth. Add Senegal to the mix, and the CFA franc system could collapse like the house of cards it is. Paris has spent decades rigging the game, but the players are walking off the field. Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger have already left France scrambling, diplomats expelled, bases shuttered, media banned. Senegal's shift could be the knockout punch, a sign that even France's loyal allies are done playing the puppet.
And these are the leaders that we want to see in Africa. We want to see that every other African leader who is seeking for the progress of his nation should team up with Mali, Niger and Burkina Faso. That is the only way that we can see the economic freedom that we want to see in Africa. We can never defeat these people individually. And that is why we need to unite. And that is why Mali, Niger and Burkina Faso have to come together, because our strength lies in our unity. If we want to fight these people individually, they will always get people that they will use to make sure that the fight is meaningless. So we have to team up together and fight this goal. How can we be living in this 21st century claiming we have independence, yet people sit somewhere and control our economy? This is not freedom. This is the time for us all to rise up and unite and fight the colonial injustice that has been imposed on us by the colonizers. We have to break free. We have to make sure we think about ourselves. These people are fighting for themselves, and we have to also fight for ourselves to make sure that we also rise to the top. Enough of the poverty, enough of the hardship, the pain, the suffering. He met with our all-in-alls, and now he has also seen the need to move out of the Ecowas bloc to develop the country Senegal. You cannot be in the group of these people that they control and you'll be able to move the country that you are governing. If truly you want to better your country, you have to move out of the colonial chains. And that is what Captain Ibrahim Traore, Assimi Goita and Abdurrahmane Chiani did perfectly well. And they have shown the way to other leaders. We were scared that we cannot do it. Yes, now we have leaders who have opened the door. We know things are not going to be easy. You cannot continue to be leaders in Africa and want to have things the easy way. You will never get that. As a leader, you should be prepared for all that it takes and all that will come your way. That is what Mali, Niger and Burkina Faso are doing. And we are hoping that as we always gather to say we are celebrating Independence Day, this will remind us the fight, the sacrifices of our forefathers, what they did, so that we will also continue from where they have started and where they ended. And these people are doing everything possible to hold on to whatsoever their forefathers did. But the African is doing everything possible to make sure things become easier. And we cannot continue to be dining with these people, always moving here and there, in and out of their country, listening to whatsoever instructions they give to us, and we are carrying them out and expect that we'll give a better Africa to our people. The president of Senegal, Bassirou Diomaye Faye, promised his people a better Senegal and a better Africa, and that is the reason to which they gave you the mantle. So it is high time you stop doing the talking and stop joining hands with the colonial gatekeepers and do what is the reason to which your people gave you the mantle. And we are hoping that this revolution will wake everybody up, the leaders that are sleeping, and we the youth and the citizens that are sleeping, to all wake up and rally behind. Teamwork is the only way that will give us the better Africa we are looking for. Captain Ibrahim Traore said that we will not get all to be in this fight with us, but the majority of us can rise up and fight, because there are some people, no matter what you do to them, they can never be in the good side, even though they wish good for themselves. But when they even see the good thing, they are not able to make it out. Our strength lies in our unity. United we stand, divided we fall, and united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's decolonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we make African great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world, in Africa, West Africa, and in Senegal.